Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dribble Me Softly podcast. The podcast that you didn't know that you need to know. How are you both?
Good. Well fed. How are you?
well fed. Dylan?
Good, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, why is that?
Because we've got a super podcast extravaganza that we're splitting into two today.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, you heard right. A super mega pod extravaganza.
God damn.
Damn indeed.
That sounds exciting.
It is. Why are you not more excited?
I am. I'm super excited. You're just hella pumped.
What's on?
Yeah.
Part one and part two.
Good question, Ben. So in part one, we'll be breaking down all the magic of the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. And as we always do, we'll break down the title race as things start to heat up, plus the race for the top five and the Champions League spot. So who's going to take those? We'll speak a bit about that and try and figure it all out. We've also got a mouth-watering debate as we look at Brighton's recent rises through the English tier and how they get there. We'll try and figure it out. So that's part one. In part two, we'll be looking at all things Europe, including the drama of the round of 16 of the UCL and the Europa League, and try to predict the final as the bracket's now been released for the road to the final for the Champions League and the Europa League. Finally, we've also got a debate question, but we'll talk a little bit about the top five European leagues as those title races are also heating up. All this to come and so much more.
Woofed. We just want to build suspense for the part one of the super mega extravaganza pod.
Part one of the what?
I can't say anymore.
I was hoping you would, to be honest.
I'm going to go to Stu and ask him what is magical about the FA Cup.
Well, I do love the FA Cup. The record holders of the FA Cup.
How many? Yeah, we know what the answer is. The question is how many?
Fuck.
13?
13 or 14, yeah.
I think it's 13.
Yeah.
13 or 14,
Isn't
one
it,
of the two.
Isn't it crazy that you guys have 13 FA Cups and Real Madrid have 14 Champions Leagues?
That is wild, to be honest. That is wild.
It's good for them.
It is good for them.
I'm happy for them.
Are you though?
I don't care. What I do care about is cup magic, though.
Cup magic indeed. Where to start, mate?
Well, let's get the boring one out of the way first.
Yeah.
Let's scratch City off. City
Dominated them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, it was it was just deflections from Bernardo. 2-0, I think we were fairly early in the game.
Yeah, 13th and 31st minutes, Drew.
And that was it.
Who did they play? They missed the key details.
They've gone missing here in Newcastle, to be honest. They, I thought they might have had a chance, but are they still rocked by injuries? Let's have a look at their lineup.
Not really.
Like, yes and no.
They've got
Still a solid team. You know, I talked so much shit about Isak earlier in the year, but like he's actually solid.
I think
Very solid.
Do you reckon there's a chance he could get poached by someone?
100%, yeah.
I think so, but I feel like
Newcastle
meant to be
building, yeah,
he'd
you know.
definitely stay.
Agreed, yeah.
But yeah, they just went in it, and City you would expect it to win anyway.
And
So,
City actually played a relatively strong team.
yeah, 73% possession,
They played a very strong team, to be fair.
789 passes to 293.
Do you reckon that the fact that they did play such a strong team is indication that Pep does want to win the treble 2 years in a row?
That would be
I
unprecedented.
mean, that'd just, bro, you just retire on the spot after you win the Champions League.
What
Would you do after that?
Well, he would
Go again.
You could go again. What's to say you don't try for 3 in a row?
Nah, I reckon he would go follow Pep around. Klopp. Then they can have their bromance properly and start their own podcast or TV show.
Could you imagine a Klopp and Pep potty? That would be great to listen to.
It gets rid of Cara and or Carragher and
Neville.
Neville.
Bro, Carragher is terrible. Have you seen some of the post-match
On the
interviews?
CBS stuff.
Yeah.
It's getting cringy.
He doesn't even know what to say half the time. Anyway,
He makes some real weird references to that. Is it
Kate
Kate
Abdo?
Abdo?
Yeah.
It's kind of borderline like, is HR going to get involved?
God damn.
It's
Yeah.
strange, yeah. Anyway, I think that's
But the 4 of them, they do make one really good cast. Like,
Yeah.
they're quality.
they're really
entertainment.
good. But like for a football show, there's only one person on there that speaks football properly.
Yeah, Thierry
He's
Henry.
always the one that takes it away and like, you know, anyway, just about the game.
Yeah.
And these guys are saying like, oh,
Yeah,
Michael was wearing an
Micah's-
Arsenal
yeah.
jersey before. And we're like, what are you talking
What was
about?
with that? Why did he wear an Arsenal jersey?
Supposedly he's an Arsenal
Yeah,
fan
there's
as a kid.
Lol.
Yeah.
Because he works for Sky Sports as well as Match. Is he sometimes part of Match of the Day or ITV? Something like
No,
that?
I don't think he's part of
No?
Match of the Day, but he does that CBS.
Well, he
right?
also does a thing with Lineker and
yeah, the
and
rest
Alan
is football,
Shearer.
right?
Yeah,
The
and they always,
podcast, yeah.
and they reference him being an Arsenal fan a lot.
Yeah,
Does
there
that
you
stick
go.
to football?
Stick
That's
to
it.
the rest of football or something like that.
The rest is football.
yeah.
But Micah Richards is actually an ambassador to Man City.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
There you go.
And also a Leeds fan.
Sorry, what?
He grew up in Leeds.
Right, okay.
Grew up in
So
Leeds,
maybe this
Arsenal
Arsenal
fan.
thing is just
But
a
came
joke.
through the Man
Ambassador.
City academy.
Okay, right. Yeah, fair enough. He did play for Man City. Just before we go on to the next thing, imagine Ian Wright, Sean Wright Phillips. That rivalry must be hot right now with the title race.
Yeah, for sure.
Like for a father and son.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They sometimes have an Optus Sport here.
They do, both
They
of
do.
them on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Sean Wright Phillips is quite... I always forget he exists.
He
He had an
was-
alright career.
Yeah. You look at his goals.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. But I love Ian Wright, man. He's so funny as well. He's good on TV.
He's quality. And the
Yeah.
good thing is he's not biased at all.
He's not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
Kind of had enough of that shit, hasn't he? I do
Yeah.
like how he works with Roy Keane. There's a bit of their bromance there.
Yeah.
The
That's
only
very-
time you'll ever see Roy Keane like fully smiling is if
He's
Ian
talking
Wright
Ian
is saying something funny or speaking. So they have a good relationship.
It's nice to see.
It is nice to see because it wasn't as if they had a rivalry, but they were in the midst of a pretty hot rivalry back in the day.
Oh
True.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of rivalry, should we go there?
Where?
To the stadium which is falling down?
Which stadium?
Old Trafford.
Yeah. So just before we do go into the game, there is a little bit of news around the stadium, right? Saying that are they looking at rebuilding the stadium? Are they looking at moving Old Trafford completely and creating a brand new stadium? What are your thoughts on that? What do you reckon if you're a fan or if you had any skin in the game? What would you prefer? Because it's
prestigious,
happened to you
man.
guys with Highbury and then the change to
Yeah.
Emirates. So
Yeah, but I think they're learning how to build stadiums a lot better. Look what they did with Tottenham Stadium.
it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even the way they renovated the Etihad, to be fair, pretty impressive and scaled it up.
Yeah, I think historically, or in terms of nostalgia, right, you wouldn't want to lose Old Trafford
Yeah,
as a United fan.
100% because of the history of the stadium.
But if you're like on the younger side and you're a fan that goes maybe away day at Spurs or something, you'll be like, "Fuck, imagine if we could have a stadium like this."
Some of it is the fact it's kind of past its saving moment now, or saving point. 'Cause I think it's fallen apart, isn't it?
It's still the stadium with the biggest capacity in the league, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close to
Yeah.
70, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if not exceeding already 70. Yeah,
But if your facilities are shit,
yeah, agreed.
and like they can't even get the like any Euros or European games, neutral games, because the facilities are so poor compared to others. So it says a lot, really.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah.
How close is it to the Etihad?
I actually don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, no idea. But yeah, let's get into the game. So United did win 4-3 and progressed to the semi-final.
Who do they play?
They did play Liverpool, played at home, so at Old Trafford. A very interesting game of football, actually. And it went to extra time. I had to get the winner right at the end. It was the 120th minute, but funnily enough, it actually went 10 more minutes beyond that. Where do we even start with this game? Because United actually played pretty well, all things considered.
Wasn't it Scott McSauce?
It was, yeah.
Scored first.
It was. I
Sauce.
mean, it was a tap in right in front of the, like, you know,
Yeah.
the ball was already
It was a right,
making its
right
way
place,
in.
right time.
You're exactly right. But I think what this game showed was United had 8 days to prepare for the game. Liverpool had 3. Liverpool playing like heaps of games over the past few weeks, and I think it just finally caught up to them with the fact that it did go to extra time.
I don't know, man. Like 28 shots for United.
Don't get it
Then-
twisted. United
yeah.
played well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, United played well. I mean, in saying that, in the second half, Liverpool were pretty dominant. United couldn't really get near them. But what Liverpool didn't do is they didn't close the game off. They had so many chances to score a third goal.
Yeah, Mo had quite a few, didn't he?
Mo had quite a few. There was a chance where it was 5-on-2, Cody Gakpo on the ball and just didn't make the right pass. You know,
Yeah.
makes the pass to Elliott instead of potentially going to Nunes on the left or something like that. So yeah, plenty of chances to close the game off. And then funnily enough, who actually scores the goal to send
Yeah.
it to extra time? It's bloody Anthony, you know?
Anthony.
I know.
Yeah.
First goal in I think
What-
it was 370 plus days.
What the fuck was Darwin doing, though?
Yeah,
That was so weird. He took a couple of touches, didn't he, before he did that?
yeah.
You wouldn't really expect Darwin to hold the ball that deep anyway, right? So, like, because he's prone to giving the ball away like that. But he shouldn't even have the ball there.
Agreed. He shouldn't even have the
Yeah.
ball there. But look, credit to United. They actually probably wanted it more on the night, or definitely by the time it got to extra time.
Yeah.
And look, the quad everyone was talking about the quad, but let's be realistic. The quad's never happened in any form before, so it's probably not going to happen. And it's obviously not going to happen this season anyways now. But it's a blessing in disguise when you look at the title race and you look at Arsenal and City still in the Champions League. Obviously, City's still in the FA Cup. Arsenal out of the FA Cup now. But yeah, it's just very interesting to see how this result will make things kind of unfold from here on out.
You would have had Coventry, though, in the semis.
That's true. Yeah, which is an easy game. But it's still taking this, now that we've taken the loss, it's 2 games less that we now need to play. So it'll help. And especially when you're playing so many games across in such a short period of time. And after the international break, games come quick and thin. It just happens day after day, especially in April. So that's when you need your squad to be fit, ready to go. And if that means not having to play an extra couple of games in between, then so be it.
Yeah, I honestly think Liverpool and City fans both. Well, you can't really say that with the team City put out, but I think as fans, like, they wouldn't care if the teams went out here, right? Both going for the league.
Yeah, City obviously
more important. City's going for the Champions
correct.
League.
I guess this probably means a little bit more to City because of the fact that
they have the chance for a real
treble,
right?
Yeah, correct. Which is probably indication of the team that they put out as well. In saying that, we did put a strong team out, but yeah, United played well. They played well.
It's the cup. It's what happens.
Yeah,
it's what's the magic of the cup.
And the greatest thing about this is in 3 weeks' time or 3 or 4 weeks' time, Liverpool go back to Old Trafford to play them in the league. That's going to be such a different game. You know?
Oh yeah. A league game is totally different for you guys.
Yeah, so different. So
and there's no magic for them to ride on.
They had nothing to lose. I mean, obviously losing at home, but we'll see anyway. I weirdly can just see Chelsea making the final again. I don't know why.
Just quickly, yeah, me too. On that, absolutely. Diallo, 121st minute to score the winner. He's a baller.
He got a red, didn't he?
He did for taking his shirt off because he was already on a yellow card. So he's actually going to miss the semi-final now.
Saying that, how is that Mainu not in the England team?
Correct, because he's another absolute baller.
He's been fantastic. And an engine. Why on earth?
He's the reason their midfield walked all over the Liverpool one today.
Yeah, he's been brilliant since he's come into the team. But we know Southgate, he wants to give Jordan his moment in the shower. I'm sorry, everyone knew that, I'm sure. Please don't sue me.
So now when you look at the next fixture, that, like you said, they got Coventry. Mm-hmm. So let's move on to the Coventry game because the Coventry versus Wolves game was something to behold. And when you talk about the magic of the FA Cup, this is the best indication of as to why we say that, isn't it?
It was fucking epic. Mate.
So what was the final score firstly?
3-2 Coventry.
Yeah, it was. And that final 15 to 20 minutes of football in that game was absolutely crazy. Where to even start? So, yeah, Coventry do score first, but then they get a red card, I believe, don't they?
No red card.
No red card?
Not in this one. It was
the other one, wasn't it? Yeah.
They just took control in the 80th minute, didn't they? Scored 83rd and 88.
Yeah, that's right. Ain't Nori played a game, actually. He scored the first goal for Wolves, but he looked really good in that game for him.
And then what? There's just chaos. How do you score in the 97th minute?
The fact that that's regulation time is, I mean, like, it's not gone into extra time or anything. There's 97th and 100th minute goals. That's mad.
It's insane. Yeah.
Imagine being one of those fans that left early. You know, someone would have gone, all right, we've got a consolation, or it's over, and we've just lost 2-1 at the end.
Well,
these travelling fans.
The thing is, Wolves scored in the 88th minute to make it 2-1.
Yeah, well, you just think
you think the game's done.
Luck, don't you?
Yeah, you think the game's done. Then in the 97th minute, when Coventry do score, you think, all right, it's going to extra time.
Yeah.
And then 3 minutes later, they get in the winner. It's insane. It's crazy.
It's just magic.
Good for him to go through.
Absolutely good for him to go through. Looking at the Wolves team, they didn't play the strongest team, which makes you think, could they have played a stronger team?
They do have some injuries, though. Like Neto and stuff's been injured for a while. Like they've got...
Neto's low-key got bad hammies.
He is injury prone, isn't he?
Yeah, for a young guy, that doesn't bode well for his future. And they're going to ask a lot of money for him.
That's true.
And he can't. He's got a lot of muscle injuries. They had some people that they could have brought on, but I don't know, it's a pretty strong team. It's good enough.
Yeah, it is definitely good enough, especially to get the job done against a team playing in the Championship. Good on Coventry. On to Wembley they go, and let's hope they beat United. You never know, right? We talk about the magic of the cup, and
surely Ten Hag is binned off if they lose to Coventry.
I'd fucking hope Coventry win the whole thing.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Mad.
That'd be sick. And something that doesn't happen as much as it used to anymore.
No.
Right?
Who's one of the teams? Like, I remember Wigan beating City one year.
Yep. I do remember that, 2013 maybe.
That's correct.
14,
yeah, something like that. But it doesn't happen. Yeah, right?
Didn't Leicester beat Chelsea a few years ago as well?
Yeah, but
See, Leicester's still
Leicester is fairly good then.
Yeah.
Leicester's, yeah, correct. So, Coventry are going to play United. City are going to play Chelsea because Chelsea beat Leicester.
Well, they nearly didn't.
Correct. So the game, Chelsea were cruising. The score finished 4-2, firstly, but it was 2-0, and Chelsea looked really good, no issue in the world. And then out of absolutely nowhere, there was an own goal. And what an own goal it was.
He didn't look at, but I don't know. They're both probably equally to blame. A keeper's not expecting a ball there, and this guy's just absolutely put in
you know what it is?
perfect
It's
ball.
a fucking beautiful finish, man.
Yeah, from all the way out there.
It's fantastic.
But even then, it was just 2-1. But then, 10 minutes later, equalised 2-2.
Well, that's the thing. The momentum of the game completely changed when Disasi scored that goal. Because like I said, Chelsea were cruising, and then out of nowhere, Leicester had all the momentum. And then Steffi Mavididi, did you see the goal that he scored?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But then it actually gets even better.
I was about to say there's a couple of good goals.
Yeah, correct. It gets even better. Because then what happened was there was a red card, yeah? So in the 73rd minute, Doyle got a red card. What are your thoughts on that red card? Soft or not?
Personally, I thought it was a bit harsh. But I understand it's the last man.
Yeah. So in that position, would you rather penalty non-red card, foul red card?
Penalty non-red card?
Yeah? What's like...
Was this the one that was outside the box?
Yeah, because originally it was caught, and then VAR looked, and the challenge actually occurred outside of the box. So
Would you rather keep the man and just
rescinded the red
see if
card?
the pen comes?
Rescinded the pen, gave the red
Do you
card.
think the keeper was going to get there?
I don't know.
It's close.
Yeah, it looked close. It's so hard to say. When it's 50-50, you have no idea what could have actually eventuated.
I guess it wasn't enough to overturn the original call. Is that what it comes down to these days?
I guess who knows with VAR, let's be honest. But it's an interesting one because, I think I agree with you, Ben. I'd rather cop the penalty, you keep the extra man on. Because when you lose the extra man, you got to change your shape completely.
Yeah.
And they struggled when they lost when Doyle got sent off. Leicester did because Chelsea were just all over him from that point on. And it was only a matter of time before they did score.
Yeah, that's true.
And Chukwuemeka was the one who scored the goal in the 92nd minute.
Thank God you said it because I'm fucking looking at his name right now and I'm just like, he scored a fantastic goal, but I can't.
It was actually less of the finish and more of the setup by Palmer.
Yeah.
He scored as well, didn't he?
He did earlier in the game. Palmer was a beautiful little lay on to Chukwuemeka, who scored the goal.
Madueke
But
had
then
a good goal too.
Noni Madueke scored an even better goal. Actually, when you look at it, though, he did take a deflection.
Yeah,
but it was the
that's right.
setup and the way he dribbled around the man, got it onto his left foot, and then just,
Sorted
obviously
his
took a
feet out very
deflection. And then
nicely. It sets up Cole Palmer to have a
top
game
bins.
against fucking City too.
It does, yeah.
See what he can do.
Did you see? Well, there's two things that were done by Sterling in that game.
Oh my god!
Apart from, well, give him credit, he did get the assist from.
Oh,
Marc
he had an
Cucurella.
absolute shocker, let's be honest.
But what the penalty? You seen the penalty first?
Yeah.
Zero power.
Terrible, and then his
Literally
free
at
kick.
the keeper as well. And then the free kick.
Oh my
Free
god!
kick.
He
got the-
sent
I
that over the stadium.
I
reckon.
just woke up from this direct message from my brother. Fucking Sterling.
I think the
launching that
fans
ball.
were into him after that. So
He got hooked. Yeah, he got
Yeah.
taken off.
Just really before we do move on, let's not trip out about this because the semi-final is going to be a good game. Because when you look at the two results in the league for Chelsea and City, it ended being one of the games being 4-4 and then 1-1.
Plus cup magic.
Plus the beauty of the FA Cup, plus Wembley. So really, it's a home game for Chelsea more than it is for City. I know that they get
Very
equal
true.
allocation, but still, you're playing in London.
I thought you were going to make a dig that City has no fans, but
I mean, they'll buy fans if they need to, right?
true.
They'll fill the stadium one way or another. Actually, you know what? They don't fill the stadium. You're right. It's normally called Empty Head, so who knows what will happen there. It's shaping up to be an interesting game, and probably, let's be honest, I reckon personally the winner of this semi-final will probably win the FA Cup.
yeah,
Interesting take. Yeah.
I mean, obviously City would be favourites.
Wait, did you pick Chelsea to beat Man U?
I picked Chelsea to beat Man U
In the final.
in a one-off game, yeah.
Interesting. I don't know.
In a one-off game, Chelsea are a good team. They played really well in the Carabao Cup final.
Well, yeah, they've got more tactical now, haven't they? And discipline.
Correct, yeah.
Than Man U. You never know. Fidget Spinner's going to go on a run now. He's probably going to score in
I'll
every
tell you
goal.
what, though,
Every
after he
goal
scored
every
that
game.
goal in extra time, he looked like a half-decent player. Like, he had a bit of confidence about him. It was quite funny.
Funny you say that because there was some. I saw there was a post about how Ten Hag chose
He's still got faith in him, hasn't he? Didn't he make some sort of comment that the player is still in there? He believes he can get it back out of him.
So he chose this Anthony over Kudus. And all the Ajax fans in the comments were like, to be fair, at that stage, like up to that point, Anthony was miles ahead of Kudus, apparently, for Ajax. So
Interesting.
he's just gone downhill.
Do you know who?
Interesting.
Let's make a quick pivot. Now we've done the cup. Do you know who did go downhill fast this weekend?
Go on then.
The history of the Tottenham.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you see that?
They pumped Villa and then they come and fucking get pumped by Fulham.
I know. And fourth place destiny was in their hands as well.
That it was.
Did you see any of the game, the highlights?
Yeah, I saw the highlights. It's an interesting game. Also, just on this, Tottenham broke the streak of scoring consecutive matches in the Premier League since March of 2023. Fun little fact. I forgot the amount of games it was, but it was a relatively big stretch of games that they'd scored every game in the Premier League.
I reckon they're currently making a plaque of that to put in their trophy cabinet.
Yeah, it's an achievement. Can we give them a round of applause, Ben?
I'd rather not. But
Please.
fine. I feel like this is condescending more than anything.
That's for Ange.
Congratulations, Tottenham.
My favourite thing is when Tottenham lose, the meme comes out with Ange's face going, mate. Mate.
Oh, gosh. So, look, I didn't see that result coming, especially like you said, they absolutely thrashed Villa. Right?
Yeah.
Thrashed them. So,
And they had the chance to jump them in the table
correct,
if they
yeah.
won this game. So
exactly right.
Did you know London is actually white because Fulham have beaten Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham?
Oh.
I don't know about Brentford. I'll check.
Say that again, sorry.
Fulham this year have beat Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham.
Wow. Marco Silva's doing a job.
Yeah. Arsenal have only got 1 point out of Fulham, for instance. So a bit of a bogey team.
All the while they're sitting 12th in the Premier League table.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit weird.
It's interesting, isn't it?
But sometimes they look really nice to, to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, agreed. They went on a bit of a streak as well. I think they scored 5 goals, 2 games in a row at one point earlier in the league. So
I did.
Yeah, I think they got off to a rough start though, didn't they? If I'm correct. Probably not correct. Who knows?
what are we saying about Tottenham? They've got...
We want to do. What do you think of Tottenham?
Yeah. Well, what do you think of Tottenham, Ben?
Shit.
All right. And what do you think of shit?
Tottenham.
Thank you.
That's all right.
There you go. We haven't done that one on the pod before. Just on Tottenham very quickly. They aren't going to win the league. They probably will finish 5th or 4th. So they probably will finish in the top 5, which means they probably will progress to the Champions League next year. But what Tottenham do have is a massive say in the title race because they're versing Arsenal, Liverpool and City.
Yep.
After a result like this, do you worry about facing Tottenham?
Still do, definitely, because our game's away.
Mm-hmm.
There's a derby as well.
City games, they play City at home as well.
And they have to come to Anfield.
They come to you.
Yeah.
The week before that, they played Newcastle, and 2 weeks before that, they play West Ham away. So they've got a really, really tough last couple of games here. But 3 weeks in a row, they play the top 3 teams. City, then Arsenal, then Liverpool. So
what if Tottenham take
scary.
9 out of 9 from those 3 fixtures?
Well, I'd rather that than... I'd rather them beat all 3 than one of us win.
Yeah, that's true.
That evens it out, right?
Do you think Tottenham's season would be a failure if they didn't qualify for Champions League?
Yeah, probably.
Given the start, yes.
No, given the start, yes.
Given the fact that Ange is only 1 year
100%.
into the role, no.
I was about to say, like, they've built solid foundation. Though.
Absolutely.
Got some good players in.
And the thing is, there was a period of time that they had Matters out, Son was out, obviously went to Asia Cup, so they had key players out of the squad. But when you look at the table, they've got a bit of a gap on United. They still have to play a game on Villa, so they've got to catch up in terms of games. So I think, yeah, 4th or 5th is definitely secure for Tottenham. I'm excited to see them back in the Champions League next year.
Interesting.
I couldn't give a fuck if they're playing Champions League. But I do think they'll finish ahead of Villa.
Okay. Well,
That's
Villa,
a lie. I don't think that.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you really think that?
No. Well, they have a game in hand on them, so they could be level, but then they also play like such a...
But then it's funny, right? Because Villa also have had a little bit of a dip, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know?
Villa's got an interesting run in as well.
What's their...
So they actually play all of the top 3 as well.
Same, yeah.
They also have a Midlands derby against Wolves in there, the first game back after international break. Then they go to City, then Brentford, that you don't know what you're going to get at Brentford.
Remember, they beat City?
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're also
That
in
was at
their-
home, so they go to the Etihad, then they come play us.
Exactly. So they've
And
got
remember,
the
they beat you too.
And they
European.
beat us. Then they play in the Conference League.
And they got Liverpool, the penultimate game of the season.
Nah, Palace. Second last game is
penultimate.
Liverpool. Oh,
Yeah, penultimate. It's second last.
It is
That's-
indeed, yeah. You lost your head for
I
a
lost
second.
my head. Yeah.
Nah,
I was like, wait, what?
nah.
He was ready
And
to
they play
knock off.
I
Chelsea
know.
too.
I've never seen you like this.
He's like, nah.
We're not taking you to Nando's again before the pod.
Too much
It's so
energy.
aggressive.
Honestly.
Too much energy.
So yeah, it's pretty tough running.
So yeah, I don't know. It could be either of them in the fourth spot.
Do you know what? There was Prem magic this weekend as well, though.
There was a bit of Prem magic, wasn't there?
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Of course I do.
What?
Go on.
You go on.
No, you tell me because I might be wrong.
Burnley winning a football
Oh,
game.
okay. No, I wasn't going to say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to say Luton and the Forest game because that was a good game.
Okay, that's true. Right.
Yeah.
Burnley beat Brentford 2-1. That's about it.
Burnley did actually beat Brentford. You're right. We should give Burnley a bit of stock for it because wins are hard to come by where Burnley are concerned this year.
Was it Reguilon got sent
A
off
red card.
within the first 10 minutes? Killed him. And it was fucking dumb as well.
What about Reguilon? Started the season as a Tottenham player. Then he went to United and now he's at Brentford. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
At what point do you realise that you're kind of shit and then you're just being tossed around?
I guess it's hard to tell. I don't know. He came under the Mourinho, didn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't really help you.
He
Yeah,
played
that's true.
14 games for Madrid.
They got good money out of him, didn't they?
Did they? I actually don't recall.
I think they paid
Spurs.
Spurs paid like 35, 40.
28. 27.5 buyback clause.
Okay, my maths is terrible.
But that's a fair bit, to be fair, for him. Considering he played 50 games and then went to Atletico, United, Brentford. Oh, he's still in there. He's still on Spurs books till
It's got a couple more years.
end of next year, I think. 2025.
So they'll probably sell him in the summer then, or
Mm.
try to. Okay, so Luton and Forest drew 1-1, and then Luton scored a last minute equaliser.
Yes,
didn't
they did. 89th minute Bennett was. I really, like, Luton have really grown on me this season and I
Oh,
really,
man,
really hope they stay up.
Do you remember how boring they were at the start
Yeah,
of the year? Everyone was just
correct.
like, this is
Everyone
terrible.
gave them shit. They're going straight down, but
And
they've
they
turned
just
it
started-
around.
Yeah,
They've turned it around.
They've scored more goals in the Prem than Man U.
correct.
Which speaks volumes to Luton. Up Luton Town.
It's amazing, isn't it? They've conceded 60.
That's the problem. That's why they find themselves where they are on the table.
Do you think that they could do it though?
I think they could do it. I think there is potential for them to stay up.
Okay, so why don't we, for the last part of this segment, let's just go over who we think's going to finish where in the Prem.
Just before we do that, I think we should definitely touch on the West Ham and Aston Villa game
Oh shit, I forgot about
because
that.
that was a good game, Ben. But I think we should definitely do that straight after, yes.
Hit me.
So, the West Ham and Villa game finished 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Mikel Antonio scored a great diving header.
Yep. Great assist.
Don't you love a diving header?
You do, and a whipped cross as well.
And a whipped cross to boot. Beautiful. It was a good goal, wasn't it, firstly?
Yeah, it was a good goal.
And West Ham went in at the half 1-0 up. And then, who was it that scored for Villa?
Nicolos.
Was indeed. Then there was a bit of drama, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a couple goals from each side that got
Pushed.
disallowed,
Yeah, that's right.
I believe. Or maybe two of them were West Ham. I can't remember now.
There's either side.
Because one was Antonio was pushing Emmy.
Yep. Emmy?
Oh no, it was two because
And
then there's one
just-
with
or something.
and then the hand pushing it over
it's
the
like a
line.
handball, yeah. So there were two West Ham ones.
There's a bit of chaos in that game, really, wasn't it?
So the one that I wanted to talk to you about was the handball incident when, who was it, Leon Bailey kicked the ball up. I forgot who it was that he kicked it into.
Sufal.
Was it Sufal? Yeah.
Sufal.
But the interesting part to the piece of play was that the defender that got hit, or where the ball, whose hand hit the ball, was instructing his fellow defender to, where to stand, I guess, in the passage of play. And it was at that moment that his hand got hit. So it begs the question as to what defines a natural position. And if you consider telling your teammate, or instructing your teammate where to stand in the line, is that still a natural position or not? Stu, what do you think?
Oh, it's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? Because if it is not a natural position, I'm surprised that more players haven't tried to do that and kick the ball directly kick the ball into the hand, knowing that it's not a natural position.
Like intentionally?
Intentionally, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, it's important for defenders to communicate, to stay in line, to instruct your fellow defenders where to stand and whatnot. But then, you've got to use your hands to do that to some extent.
Yeah.
So is that a natural position?
It can't be though. Because then like you almost like you'd have it the other way where defenders are like pretending to tell someone
correct
something and they just have their fucking hands out.
I absolutely agree.
So I think that's at that stage be harder for a player to aim for the hand and hit it than tell a player, yeah, it's a natural position.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Ben, what about you?
I agree. I like the fact that VAR declined to intervene.
Do you?
Yeah,
Why?
more of that.
VAR declined to intervene only because VAR don't really care about that game. If it was an Arsenal, Man City, or Liverpool game, they'd be all over that.
You reckon?
100%.
Why?
Nah.
Because there's more on the line. There's more drama involved.
You reckon more media,
more media
airtime for
hype and all this bullshit.
Interesting.
Honestly, I really do think that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Side note: Emi Martinez can fucking sell a foul on himself. Holy
Can he?
shit! He's the biggest man in the world, and he's just flailing around there. Like, did it a few times. Anyway,
He's up there with one of the most annoying men in football, isn't he?
he's
Yeah.
a great player to have on your team sometimes, but like
He has incredible shithousery.
yeah.
He's top 3.
His penalty save celebrations are like all time. That shit is fucking hilarious.
Who finishes higher? West Ham or Man U?
West Ham.
Ooh, Man U got a game in hand then, 3 points ahead of West Ham.
Plus, they're out of Europe, where West Ham are still in Europe.
So
You said West
you
Ham.
said West Ham are going to finish higher.
I know. But I'm just giving you reasons as to why Man United may finish higher. But I still think West Ham will.
Okay,
In Moisey, I trust, man. What about you?
I think Man U.
What about you,
Sadly.
Stu?
Yeah, I think United will finish above him.
Cool.
Who's going to go down?
Luton.
Burnley, Sheffield
Sheffield.
United, Nottingham Forest.
I agree.
You think Forest will go down?
I think so. I don't know what's going on in that club.
They're woeful at the moment.
Yeah,
And I hope Elanga moves and stays in the Premier League.
yeah, because we need him we need nip content.
Yeah.
I'd love Luton to stay up,
Be a great story.
but they just need to defend.
Yeah, correct.
You can score all the fucking mad goals you want.
They don't
You
know how to
can't,
defend.
you can't
for
win a
shit.
game conceding more than the other team.
It's
saying
quite
that,
funny.
imagine being Sheffield. They've conceded 74 goals
Yeah.
in 28 games.
Oh, Sheffield are going down.
Oh, they're going down. But
Ain't no question about it.
That's all-time worst defending.
Yeah.
Terrible.
That's woeful, man.
It's pretty sad, isn't it?
And they got Mr. Wilder back in the dugout too, right? You'd think that there would have been a little bit of...
Don't mean shit.
Yeah, surprisingly. Because he was pretty decent for him in his first stint at the club. And it was quite a long stint. And he brought him up as well. And he took him down and he brought him up again.
Maybe he's just built for the championship.
Maybe. Maybe he's one of those managers.
What are we going to do for top 4? Who's going to finish 4th? Off the top of your head?
Well, let's go for 5 because let's assume 5 rounded up the Champions League spots.
Yep. Let's go 5. So 5 will be Spurs.
5 will be Spurs, I agree.
So Tottenham actually are 3 points behind Aston Villa as we record this podcast, super extravaganza thing.
But they have a game in hand.
But they have a game in hand.
Correct.
And goal difference is close. There's only 1 in it.
Yeah, correct. But the other thing is they both actually need to play all 3 of the top 3, don't they? So
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Villa
Easy.
also plays Chelsea. They've got some tough games. So I feel like they'll end up on pretty much the same points.
interesting. So I'm going to say Villa 5, Spurs 4, actually. What about you, Ben, before we go to top 3?
I think Tottenham might sneak 4th.
Okay, yeah. And what about you, Stu?
I'll stick with Villa.
All right, now let's go 3. Who's finishing 3rd? Ben, I'll start with you. Quick answers only.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
gonna say Liverpool.
Stu?
Yeah, same.
Okay, my 3 is Man City. Who's finishing 2?
Really?
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay, my 2 is Arsenal. And who's finishing 1st?
Shitty.
And I'm saying Liverpool finish 1st. Interesting. There you go. I reckon Liverpool 1, Arsenal 2, Man City 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys reckon Man City 1, Arsenal 2, Liverpool 3.
Could go in any order at this
I
stage.
don't-
You both agree,
Could.
huh? Your top 3?
Yeah, top 3 I was said all the same.
You little Arsenal fans.
I don't think there'll be much in it like
chummy
at
little-
all though, yeah.
We actually have a live little table that we have between us,
just
and we
right-
just
I'm
keep
just
we
flicking notes.
keep sending updates daily.
It'll be tight, but
Yeah, that's for sure.
fucking tight.
It's going to be tight. And bring it on.
Bro, it's exciting, eh?
It's really exciting, yeah. And really nervous like really nerve-wracking at the same time.
Bro, I can't wait till like those last like 3 weeks.
I can't. I don't like.
If we're still in it.
That's true.
Could be like, we fucking bottled it in the start. Fuck this shit.
There's still 10 games to go, right? So
Let's be honest though.
7 weeks
The Arsenal
away.
that we have now at this point of this season is way better than the Arsenal last season at this point of the season.
Correct. And that's why I'm saying I can't wait for 3 games. It might not work out, but the old me with 10 games to go would never have said, I'm keen for the last 3 weeks. I would have already figured we would have fucking been nowhere near the title.
No, sorry.
No, you go.
I'll say I've still got I'm still got pain of the last fucking 10 years of slow decline, and you know, every time you get your hopes up, they're taken away. So
yeah, let's leave it there because there's a lot of questions I've got for you guys, but obviously we'll talk about it in the Europe segment, right? With the Champions League around the corner and whatnot. So shall we wrap that up there for that segment, and we'll be back with Debate Me for part 1.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
We're back.
We are indeed.
For the end of part 1, super mega pod extravaganza extraordinaire.
You've really got it down pat, mate.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty impressive, not gonna lie. What are we back for? We are back for Debate Me Softly.
And what are we debating softly?
I have no idea. What do you want to debate today?
You know what we're talking about.
All right.
We do hours and hours of prep for this.
All right. Fine. Okay, so my question for part 1 of the Dribble Me Softly.
Super extravaganza podcast extraordinaire.
That thing is Graham Potter and De Zerbi are average managers. No. Below average managers that have benefited from Brighton scouting and club structures / ownership.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
It is an interesting one, isn't it?
What do you think, Dylan?
No, I asked you the question, Benjamin.
See, that's an interesting one. We'll go into some stats, I guess, soon. But gee, at face value, just from the eye test, as Dylan likes to call it, from the eye test.
So it's quite interesting because Potter was at Brighton for quite a stint, but he's actually managing that Swiss team. Was it Osterund? Something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it in a German accent. He was there for like
It was
250
barely
games.
German, mate.
I don't know. Anyway. If we get taken down from this pod, it's because something's misspelt or taken as...
misenunciated or something.
It's taken as some sort of discriminative behaviour. Anyway, I'm not going to get banned like Reddit. Where's your German accent? Well, he's at there for 250 games. He had a 51% win rate. And then he went to Swansea and he was there for 1 year and he did all right. But then he was at Brighton for a number of years and he got him up. Didn't he bring him up from the Championship to the Premier League?
He sure did, yeah.
And then he really got him going.
It took a while, but he got there, right? They were surviving for a couple of seasons.
Correct.
I think what happened was things really went up a notch as far as Brighton are concerned. And I think a lot of that has to do, Ben, with the second part to the question, the scouting at Brighton, the ownership, the structure, and how they actually engage business, isn't it?
Well, funny you say that because De Zerbi's obviously got this hype around him as well. So Graham Potter fizzled out, didn't he? He had his chance at Chelsea. Don't know, maybe that's both to blame, considering, look at the state of Chelsea. Ripping up a team and no foundation, no stability.
Yeah, Chelsea are the opposite of the blueprint. What's the opposite of a blueprint?
I don't know.
Whatever it is, that's what they are.
I'm trying to picture that in my head now and I can't.
Whatever
All I've got
is
like a pile of matches on the floor or something. Like someone tipped the box out and they say, there you go, it's your football team.
That's a good way of putting it, actually.
Well, saying this because he left and now we're making this question about De Zerbi. But De Zerbi's been linked with Barca, Liverpool, those jobs.
Sure.
Potentially like City, Real Madrid, different random points. You know,
Sure.
touted anyway. But they haven't won a game since the 4th of Feb when they beat Crystal Palace 4-1.
That's insane.
So that's...
Was that like 6 weeks?
Correct. Oh, sorry. Well, take it back. They beat Roma in the week 1-0 after already being 4-0 down in aggregate. So I'm not really counting this. So,
So they're out of the Europa League now.
Yep, they're out.
Yep.
Done. Would you say he's a subpar manager, or is he, because he had such a good run after he took over Potter last year, do you reckon some of this is, like you say, down to the team part? But if you gut out some of your stars, they got rid of McAllister and Caicedo, their midfield.
They didn't get rid of him. They sold him at a premium.
Yeah.
Well
I'd say
actually, McAllister was
pretty,
sold for 35 mil. That was a bargain of the summer.
That's cheap.
Bargain of the bloody summer. But Caicedo was 115.
They made up for it with Caicedo.
Yeah.
Right. It's outrageous amount.
Look, the scouting of Brighton has been really good recently, and I think a lot of the reason as to why they are where they are is because of that. When you look at the managers and you break down how Potter went and then how De Zerbi's going, I dare say that Brighton are actually victims of their own recent success. No one touted them to be as high up in the league as they have been in the past couple of seasons, yet they have done that. A lot of that is because of the managers, but then also because of the players that they've brought in and just the way that they actually go about doing business, isn't it?
Well, another one to this. Do you think we're valuing Brighton too high? Because at present, they're 8th in the league. They're only, 11 points off 5th? But they're only 5 points behind Man United.
And think about it. The fact is that we just spoke about the fact that they lost Caicedo and McAllister, right? Who played in a double pivot, probably the most important positions in that Brighton team last season.
And they're currently ahead of Newcastle and Chelsea.
Yeah, but I mean, being ahead of Chelsea doesn't speak a lot, or it doesn't speak too much.
No, but if you think about it, we talked about the top 6 in the first part of the pod. 7th is West Ham, which, seems about right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brighton's in 8th. And then 9th is Wolves, 10th is Newcastle, 11th is Chelsea. So if you thought about if Chelsea lived up to at least a little bit of what was, I guess, envisioned for them this year, and Newcastle weren't in dire straits with injuries or whatever is going on with them, just leaking goals in general, you would kind of think they'd be fighting for this position as well, wouldn't you? Around about here. Or am I cooked?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I do. I'm just trying to play it out in my head. What is more important, the scouting or the managers first? Is it a chicken and egg situation?
Bit of both. Maybe, surely it's got to be some sort of collaboration. Look at what the state of Man U, where they haven't really collaborated completely with managers previously. And Woodward at the time, I guess, was signing off on people that not necessarily a fit.
Yeah, it definitely has to be a collaboration.
So surely there's a bit of both.
Yeah. You have that strategy in place, right? And you want a manager that can...
So you've got to be aligned with the sporting director, haven't you? And share their vision.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, correct. The sporting director ultimately looks at the players, but it needs to speak to the philosophy of the club or what the manager is actually asking for. And there needs to be that collaboration there.
Do you think it's telling that Potter hasn't been offered a real job, like another higher end job, since the Chelsea catastrophe?
See, this is the interesting part, right? And it's an interesting question because when a lot of people are talking about Xabi Alonso and his next move, okay, and he's got a few options, right? One, go to Liverpool, go to Bayern. Obviously, Real Madrid's not an option right now, but the other option is to stay at Leverkusen. The thing that you got to look at is he's really early in his managerial career, as Potter was in many ways before he took the Chelsea job. And you got to think about the implications that it has. If Potter stayed at Brighton and Brighton actually fell off a cliff, then his stock isn't as diminished as it is because he went to Chelsea, took the job, did horribly, and now he's got nothing to show for it.
And at whatever time he enters back into the managerial race, I think he's just got to go. He's going to have to go to a 10th place below team.
And that's it, because his stock is not where it was at the time where he was doing really well at Brighton. He had the opportunity to take that Chelsea job and to run with it, and unfortunately for him, he didn't.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But that could have gone the other way. He could have taken him to new heights, and imagine his stock today.
All I'm thinking here is you're considering taking Potter at Liverpool.
At the time that Chelsea hired Potter, did you guys think it was a crazy move, or did you think, maybe this could work?
I thought it could work on the basis that there's a new owner at the time as well. So part of the new vision, and also on the back of the fact that at that time Potter was coming off a really good spell with Brighton.
Imagine if Todd Bowley bought Brighton instead.
They'd be
Do you reckon
fucking relegated.
do you reckon he lays there at night just staring at the ceiling thinking, fuck me, I could have saved so much money and had so much less hassle from the investors if I just bought Brighton?
Who cares
too
about-
involved though, right? I think that's his.
Who cares about Todd Bowley? Who cares about Chelsea? The question's about Brighton.
Okay, I've got a decision on this.
Go on.
I think Tottenham. Sorry, Tottenham.
You're
Didn't need to
obsessed
sing
with Tottenham, mate.
this. They're in my head.
Rent free.
Yeah, it's because you made me sing the song earlier, and now I can think about that and singing about Andrew's mum. That's a song which is not appropriate for the pod.
Jesus
Christ.
This guy's on something today, isn't he?
I think Potter may be not top tier or ready for that, or just below that tier. I think De Zerbi could be. I think De Zerbi has potential.
Chelsea needed a project manager, just quickly, and Potter wasn't it. You know? Yeah.
Is Poch?
I think Poch can be, and Poch has proven that he has been in the past with Tottenham.
But it makes you wonder about the alignment piece, because he must have been quite aligned with Levy, because they did well.
Yeah.
In how they grew and
very well.
nurtured that team.
They did very well, yeah, correct.
Whereas this, it still seems to be a bit like old mate Todd's there at the market, just going, I want that one, I want that one.
Yeah.
Where's the alignment?
Yeah, there is none. Has Todd Bowley made himself the sporting director?
I don't know what Todd does.
I couldn't tell you either. But the way that they go about the business, it's almost like he's the sporting director, right?
Yeah.
The brains behind the operation, almost, if you will.
He wants to be everything.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not a football man. He's a businessman.
He's
Keep-
fucking American.
Keep the football to the football nerds.
True.
Anyways, let's close up on this one. Let's get an answer. What are we saying? Have De Zerbi and Potter been successes to Brighton scouting?
I think they both play into it, right? Like it's a bit of both. I wouldn't say they're below average, man. I think maybe Potter's a Brighton level coach, and they did very well because of him and because of the transfer strategy. And I think De Zerbi is now sort of under a bit of attack because of how well they did before.
Mm.
And now he's expected to do even better, which is hard for Brighton.
Yeah. I'm just going to flip the script really, really quickly, okay? So the reason that Brighton have been so successful is because of the scouting, but the reason that the scouting has been so successful is because of the managers.
Okay, so what's the conclusion here?
The conclusion is that Brighton have been successful because of their scouting as well as because of Potter and De Zerbi.
We're
I
at
agree.
stalemate.
We're at a stalemate.
I do.
Do you know what? If I was a listener, I'd be pissed right now with the lack of
Too much
decision.
French sitting here.
But
Do you get what I'm saying? In
Okay.
all seriousness, though?
I agree. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what I said too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both.
yeah, I agree with you. Maybe let's wrap this part of the podcast up. This is part 1.
Mm-hmm.
What have we got coming for part 2?
You're really putting me on the bloody spot here, aren't you, mate? So, like I did say before, part 2, we're actually going to look at Europe. We're going to look at the Champions League. We're going to look at the Europa League. I guess we'll touch on the Conference League, even though it's not really that important, but I guess it is to the teams that are competing in it. And then we'll just touch on the top 5 Euro leagues. We'll see what's happening in the title races around Spain, Germany, France, Italy,
You know what?
and fuck Saudi. And
Oh no, Ronaldo did miss a sitter. Like
He
fuck
did.
covering Saudi, but he missed a sitter in their Champions League thing, and it is hilarious.
that's right. It was funny. But also we have another debate question in part 2. So I'm actually looking forward to that one. Bring it on, I dare say, my friends.
All right, people, we'll be back for part 2 and more after this next.
Bye.
Yeah.